There we go. We are live. You there? Or am I all No, I cannot hear you. Well, to start off this episode, it looks like we're having some technical difficulties with our audio setup all of a sudden. Oh boy. Hopefully my co-host
Hello?
here. Hello.
Hello?
I can hear
Oh,
you.
you can hear me now.
I can hear you.
Okay, cool. All right. Welcome. Okay, so I was telling you that they discovered I was a freak, but so there's like 40, like a half hour of me telling stories about my dreams, and and
Mhm.
you know that I can't see pictures in my head, right?
No, I
Have
didn't
I
know
told you
that.
that before?
No,
Well,
I
I
didn't
also
know.
don't really think. I don't have an inner monologue either. Okay, so everyone was speculating about whether or not I was an NPC. But then we also talked
Probably.
about my dreams because you know I have nightmares all the time. You don't know this
You
either. A
you
lot of things
don't
you don't know
have
about me.
dreams. You don't have dreams. You just have nightmares.
Well, that's exactly what I said. You said, "Do you dream?" I said, "I don't dream, but I do have nightmares."
Oh.
Like last night, I dreamt about a snake, me falling into a pond that became the deep ocean, and a snake coiling around me as it grew larger and ate me. So a lot of my nightmares involve like slime.
I think you just
But
have a thing for slime then.
no, it's not a thing. It's a fear. But yeah, so that's what happened. That's what I was gonna tell you. But
Okay.
anyway, today we're doing an elephant sitting still.
Standing still.
Is it standing still? I thought it was sitting still.
No, it's standing still.
Are you sure?
I'm very
Because
sure.
it's got broken legs, so it's sitting.
I'm very sure it's standing still.
Hmm. All right. All right. I believe you.
Yeah. I mean, just look it up. Wait, what? Hold on. Is it sitting still?
Is it sitting still?
Did this one YouTube video I have pulled up says sitting still?
Ah.
Does
Interesting.
everyone just have like different things?
An elephant leaning still.
Oh no, it is sitting still. Fuck,
It
we
is
just
sitting still.
messed up. We just messed up the title on our video, and
Oh, it's okay.
oops,
Now at least
oops.
everyone that Googles an elephant standing still will get our video.
Yeah, we can edit that. We can edit that.
I'll edit it right now. But yeah, good movie. Probably one of the best movie depictions of like a lower middle class life I've ever seen.
One of the best depictions of real life China. uh,
Yeah, well, it is sort of and oh, you can tell the story about it. Yeah, why don't you do that? Because there was an interesting story behind this movie.
oh yeah, the story behind the movie.
Yeah.
I think we should start with the general plot itself. So
Okay.
this is shot as like a slow motion film. Um, very stylized, like very stylistic choice by the director Hubo. And he, this story is the story of four main characters as they're struggling in their normal lives. They're just having a shitty day. And we watch these four people all make a choice to take control of their lives and break free from the normality or the doldrums of their day to day. And I watched their four stories kind of come together and intertangle, and all these characters just bounce off of each other. As yeah, and that's about it. Um,
Yeah, and the title of the movie comes from a real elephant in what's the city?
it was, um, I don't think it was really in Manjuli, like the film says, but there is like the concept of a elephant that's sitting still. It's kind of been um, put into almost like legend after a real case of an elephant in China that just sat still in its enclosure all day. And people like wanted to see the elephant move and stuff. So they would throw food at it. Some people would throw rocks. People would yell at it. No matter what kind of like greetings it would get, whether it was cruelty or like warmth and comfort, the elephant would just sit there and not take any of it. It wouldn't respond to anything. And it was just kind of like the part about the injury kind of got removed, and it's used more of a symbolic like imagery of an elephant just sitting still unresponsive. But that's what these people say that they're chasing off to in this film. But in this film, it's used much more as of like a thematic concept or an end goal for them to reach. Like this place, which I think fits really nicely in with just the whole thematics of this movie. Like, I don't know what your thoughts are on it, but
Uh, well, it's like what are my thoughts on the elephant?
around the thematic parts and like of this movie and
Uh,
how it connects
okay.
to an
I
elephant's.
know I know that the elephant is a metaphor for something,
Mhm.
but I don't know what it's a metaphor for. I'm smart enough to recognize that there's a metaphor taking
An
place.
elephant sitting still is a metaphor for like an overwhelming sense of despair or ultimate catharsis.
Okay, sure. Then the elephant sitting still is them. They're sort of not doing much with their lives, any of them.
Yeah, they're all elephants sitting still.
And them deciding to go see the elephant is the elephant standing up, essentially. Them
Yeah.
running away.
Mhm.
Okay. So that is the thing about the movie. It's a bunch of people who who have the courage to run away.
Yeah. I think it's less so about just running away.
Breaking free,
It's yeah,
maybe is a
it's
more better way of putting it.
yeah, breaking free is definitely half of it, but I think the other half that we'll get into more when we're talking about this is the taking control part. Because each of the four main characters has one like set scene, like they have a dedicated scene to just them of where they get an a choice. They're given a choice in their day to day, and they take an option. And they choose to break free, and that's when they go. Unfortunately, for one of our characters, his choice wasn't as fortunate as the other ones, but but I mean, hey, that's what life gives you, I guess. We can start getting into it. Um,
Yeah. So do you know any of the characters' names? Because I'm gonna be honest, I don't know any of their names.
I don't think we're going to talk too much about their character or use these characters by their names. I you can like we can
Boy,
look them up.
girl, young man, old man.
Yeah, we could say boy one. Boy one will be the main boy that we
Well,
follow.
they're so boy, girl. There's three males, but one of them is a teenager. Two of them are grown men.
We'll call him Thug.
Boy, thug, man.
Boy
Yeah.
one, boy two, Thug, old man, and girl one.
Who's boy
'Cause
two? Oh, is boy two? Okay, boy two. Yeah, because he you're right. He's an important character.
he's important, but he's not like of the main four.
Yeah, and then bully.
Um, Yeah, we could talk about the, well, because yeah, the cast is, I know
Girl,
this is gonna sound bad, but it's like the cast is like Pen Yu Cheng, Zhang Yu, Wang Yumen. This is a fully Chinese movie, and we don't want to have to battle with the names, um, just through the whole thing. So we'll have boy one and two. Um, yeah, girl one, old man, thug one, and anyone else will just kind of address by the role that they fill in the moments. Okay. Um, to give like a last little bit about the movie before we jump into it is going to be the story of Hu Bo, the director behind this film. So, because he has like, I think half of why I love this film is from Hu Bo and the story behind it. Because it's like really sad. So he was a 29 years old when he started his the filming this movie, and he was a accomplished author at the time, book writer, novelist, and he had been studying as a director, which is nice and all. And he started did this was his first film. It was extremely anticipated. People knew him is mainly in like the directing and the book communities stuff. So he was respected and he was a promising young talent coming back. Um, One of his best friends, he said in an interview, was like when they first started publishing and he was like or producing the movie, he like looked at his script. He asked Hubo like, "How long is this movie going to be anyway?" And Hubo told him, "I'm looking for 3 hours and 50 minutes." And but before they had even started production, he had every detail almost like laid out in his head. He was described as a very visionary person. Um, when this film did come out, or well, it didn't really come out because when he was trying to get it published, um, the production companies didn't like the film at all. It was too long, very slowly paced, very sad. It didn't fit a general audience, they felt, and they didn't think it would make much money. Which, to be fair, it didn't. This movie only had like an opening of $30,000. It really didn't perform well, but um, the Chinese government eventually too tried stepping in a few times to get this film blocked to make sure that it didn't happen due to how it portrayed life in modern day China. And eventually mounting stress, mental health issues, and all that led to director Hubo taking his life um, in October of 2017, the age of 29, shortly after he finished the film. His best friend in real life, who plays Thug One, that we'll have him up on screen at some points and talk about him. He ended up getting this movie published a year later at the Berlin Film Festival in memory of his friend that he lost to suicide, and published it like by himself as an independent. And yeah,
that's a real and so what exactly was the pressure from the Chinese government? Like, what did it look like? Do you know?
I don't know exactly. The Wikipedia page just says like talks about it and it's like the government didn't like this movie. They didn't want it publicly available for people to like see stuff like this or for the world to see China like in that light because they're very um picky about what content can get out and how China is portrayed.
Yeah,
They just
and
didn't
that
like
makes
it.
sense because it's not exactly good.
It's not. It's a very hard film to watch. It covers tackles a lot of like very difficult topics of this. Or not really, but it's just generally the struggles of life. Yeah.
Okay, so I mean, and obviously, yeah, you're right. It doesn't portray life for the average Chinese citizen very well.
No. It's very dark film. There's a lot of death. I didn't realize just how much death was in this movie until like my fourth watch through when I was watching it with you.
Is it? It's three though. It's only three, right?
Yeah,
I,
I think so. No, there's the man who jumps out of his apartment window.
oh yeah, yeah, yeah. I forgot about that. So
There's the
suicide one.
grandmother. Yeah, suicide. Um,
Oh, wait, the
the
grandmother. What grandmother? What grandmother died?
when kid one goes to his parents took the money, his emergency
Oh,
money,
right,
when
right, right. You're
and
right.
he goes to her house to get money, and he finds her dead in her apartment. Um, which that's like a scary reality to like think of that can honestly like happen to anyone, and like the prevalence that it really does happen to elderly people who are living alone.
People, yeah, just dying in your bed.
Yeah, and it's like you don't have people visiting you often, like people just don't even notice, which that's a scary thought to have. Yeah, who else? There's We don't ever hear about the bully or a thug. It's not confirmed what actually happens to them, though.
The bully did die though.
I don't. Was it confirmed that he died?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Oh, okay. I'll take your word
But
for that then.
he really didn't. But the thug really didn't like his brother.
Yeah. Oh no, he didn't. He literally called him a pussy. But yeah, we can kind of get
Did the
into.
thug? Did I don't. But I don't know if it's confirmed that the thug died.
No, it's not. Which we will get into that because that is my favorite scene, and we will have a whole deep dive on that. Um,
Yeah,
but I would like to talk about how these characters are introduced when we first meet them.
they're all waking up.
Yeah, so it's the start of the day. Um,
And the whole movie takes place over the course of a day, by the way. So a lot happens in this one day.
so it starts with we'll start with the old man because he's probably like my favorite of. Actually, the thug is probably my favorite out of all of them. Because he
The
has the
girl, I feel
best
like the
start.
girl really gets sidelined.
She does, but even though she gets sidelined, she has my second favorite scene in the movie.
Is that her hitting?
The bat scene, yeah,
Yeah.
which we will definitely go over that because that is one of the pivotal scenes in the movie. And I also do like the monkey scene, like the monkey parts. But to start about the old man first, as I have the image with him pulled up, is he wakes up in his apartment and that his children or his son's wife, and their little kid are all living in. It's cramped. He's literally sleeping on a covered balcony, and that is his bedroom. But it's his apartment, and he gets the news that morning that to make room for their daughter who is growing up, he's going to get administered to a nursing home for old people. And that kind of, he's not happy about that. He like vocalizes that like he's just being going to be forgotten about his kids, which I thought it was like one of those more minor scenes in the film. I wish that they played more around this, but if you have criticisms or praises about like any of the opening scenes for each character, you can like go ahead and
I don't
jump
have
in.
any criticisms. I didn't quite get that this was a covered balcony at first. But also, I'm
Oh
gonna be totally honest. Sleeping in a covered balcony isn't so bad.
no, it's like really cramped, and he just says like, he only we only know it's like the covered balcony because of like one line in the movie, which I picked up on.
Yeah,
So
I got that too, and I was like covered balcony. Was that a
yeah,
covered balcony?
yeah. I mean, it's like a balcony that's been slightly renovated. It's like caged in a little bit. It's got a little bit of window panes and sheets just filling in the rest of the gaps because they just don't have any other room. Um, so yeah, his family is going to send him up to a nursing home, and his only real possession left is his dog, and he's afraid that by doing so, they're going to take even that from him because he can't have the dog in the nursing home. Which we will get to the dog later. There is so much to get into. Jesus Christ. Next we have the scene of Boy One, which we're gonna turn off the subtitles. Um, I really liked this opening scene for Boy Number One. I don't know if you got much to say about it. Oh.
Yeah. So what essentially happens is he wakes up, and his parents are just instantly berating him.
Mhm.
Which if you were been a teenager, it is relatable.
His dad is complaining about the smell. He says the boy says it's from the trash outside in the morning when the sun hits it. Because I leave the kitchen window open, but the father says no, it's you, which is
Yeah, but
big.
when he was talking to his wife, the father did say it's because you leave the window open,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah,
So he's literally just saying that to berate his son.
yeah.
They
This
know
scene,
it's coming from the window, but he's saying, "Ugh, you smell so bad,"
mhm.
stinking out the whole place, trying to gas us out of here.
This scene, we also get to see that his father is injured, at least with like a broken leg or something, and we suspect that that is probably a reason for his hostility to come from. Like, he has no mobility, as we see in the scene. Big character moment of when the dad drops his pills on the floor and like he's struggling to reach them, but his son, boy one, is just watches him struggle because he
Yeah,
resents his father for like the berating, and like the father looks up at him after like a moment's silence, he just says like, "Get out."
yeah.
Which
That's. I mean, I was thinking that too. I was like, and his father didn't ask for help either.
no,
So there was no expectation that these two are gonna cooperate with each other at all, from either of
no.
them.
In Western society too, like the idea of like respecting your elders is also like very ingrained into their culture. So
Even more so
I
than here, and it's in the Bible.
yeah. So it would I don't know exactly like how much weight that carries, but like I can kind of sympathize with how like that is just an unacceptable act of like disrespect.
Yeah, absolutely. So I don't but I don't know if he took, because I think he might have been um like, I don't think he cared at all
Mhm.
for like, I think he might have been too proud to ask his son for help.
Oh yeah,
His son
absolutely.
who he looks down on.
Yeah,
He's like, this little piece of shit has to help me.
yeah. He just resents everyone and everything. Thankfully, we don't get too much of him in the movie, but he's an important character nonetheless.
Yeah, he's
Um,
so awful.
One criticism I do want to bring up is I absolutely know that like the slow pacing of this movie, like the long shots, the lack of cutting of the camera, the pausing between dialogue lines, while it is very much like a stylistic choice, and like this movie would definitely not be the same without it. There are a lot of points where they could have sped it up a little bit.
Yeah, there was a lot of like break. I was noticing that too. Like there were times where I heard a pause and I went to the bathroom because you have to read all the dialogue in this movie, and I came back and they hadn't said a word.
Yeah, there. This movie, it's like its biggest strength is also its biggest weakness because this film, I don't know of any other film that uses its downtime so well, like so much silence that yet still says so much with the characters' expressions and how they interact or the emotions that do show on their faces. But at the same time, there was like a lot of points where it's like there's been a dialogue cut and like the characters are just sitting there, but there's nothing to process. There was nothing going on more to the conversation.
And you're right. That might have been because of the actors themselves. Like obviously these aren't like
Mhm.
exactly A-list celebrity actors.
Absolutely not.
So there is sort of a lot of. It seems like maybe people talk slower in China. Is that a thing?
No, I doubt it.
Because I feel like when me and you are talking, we're sort of spitting tons of ideas at each other in like quick succession.
Yeah,
But a lot of these people were just like very slow, like, oh, grab
I
my
think
bag.
I think it was
Oh,
an overused stylistic choice. And because it's like a stylistic choice, like very much on the film, it's like I can't really fault it for that. But at the same time, that does lead to
well, it's sort
weaknesses
of
in
no, isn't it sort of the opposite because it's a stylistic choice. Yet you almost have to fault it more because if
mm,
it was just a problem with like you know like not very experienced actors, then you'd just be like, okay, well the movie's still great. It's
it
just
did
they didn't have the
weaken the
writing.
pacing. It definitely weakened the pacing a little bit, but like it was also so critical at other points. I think it was just an overused stylistic choice.
I agree, but what do I always say about pacing? Like why Everything Everywhere All at Once was so great because it just had the best pacing I've ever seen.
Oh yeah, like it used the slow pacing that this film had in its key moments, and it was incredible for it, which
And
unfortunately
there's a
this
scene
film.
where they're rocks talking to each other. You have to read the dialogue.
Hmm.
That was a great choice. Oh, but we're not here talking about Everything Everywhere All at Once.
We could just make
We
this
could,
in
we could
everything.
swoon over it. We swoon over it every episode now, but it's because it was amazing.
Good boss. So the kid then he goes off to school, and that is when we meet
His girlfriend.
gangster number one,
Oh yeah, the
because
thug.
because it does, or yeah, thug number one, because he wakes up and he's woken up in his best friend's wife's apartment.
He's like a total piece of shit. This guy.
He really is. Oh my god. In like the film, they talk about how like, or you're able to pick up bits and pieces between their conversations of how like she rejected him, so he slept with her to get back at them in their relationship. It's just a mess. And then he completely tries to blame the entire situation on her.
Yeah.
She threatens to call the police about it. They both just blame each other. They blame the other party for what happens. But
As you do, and in all relationships, you like everything bad that ever happens is their fault, and I'm not a, like hearing people talk about their divorce. Like I was a perfect husband. She sucked.
like you
That
see
sort of thing.
almost how shitty he is because he like demands a bottle of water or like a glass of water from her. And it's like, and like he when he gets back to the bed after smoking at the window, he's like, "You never got me my water." It's like, dude, like, holy shit, you're like so entitled.
He's just a, he's just asserting his dominance, though. He's a thug.
Yeah, just he starts out this film as a big asshole.
Yeah.
A lot. He has the best character arc by far, though. By far. Um, the
I sort of
next.
liked, if I'm being totally honest, if we're talking about character arcs, I sort
Mhm.
of liked the girl's mom.
Oh yeah, that was a good.
But
I think
that wasn't really an arc. That was just a sudden, like, okay, she's not as bad. She's not the worst parent in this movie.
Oh, here we go. her opening scene is like a bit later in the film. But we'll cover it because it's like an opening scene where she's getting ready to go to school, and we're introduced to her entire dynamic between her and her mother. If you want to break it down.
Yeah, she wakes up. There's a leak in the bathroom. There's clothes hanging up in the bathroom. The apartment's a mess. Her mother's hungover,
Hmm.
and like bad hungover.
Yeah.
And she's getting ready for school, and she's like, "Hey, by the way, you think you can get a plumber in here, or something like that?"
Not
What
only is
does she
she
say exactly?
hungover, she was very openly talking about um the man that she got with the night before, and
Oh,
how
I
it
did.
turned out that he had nothing to offer her, so she dumped him and left him there.
Really? I must have missed that.
Yeah,
That's really
she
disturbing.
keeps calling him Baldy because he was a
Oh no,
bald
I
guy.
remember.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and it was like, what the fuck would I have to get from a Baldy, or like, what could a Baldy give me? And then she's like, "Oh yeah, your birthday cake's over there, and it's crushed." And she blames the daughter for it.
Yeah, she's like, "You crushed that?" It's like, "Are you sure you didn't crush it while you were drunk?"
Hmm.
Yeah, and then she eats a few bites of the birthday. But by the way, crushed birthday cake. Call me. This might be controversial, but tastes exactly the same as regular birthday cake.
Oh yeah, it does.
Actually,
She
you ever drop a cake and you eat it and it's actually better?
No, I've never dropped a cake.
Oh, I don't know if I have either. I might have just made that up. I think I might have. I think I might have dropped a cake at one point, but I'm honestly not too sure
Oh
now
yeah.
that I think about it.
Here's like the scene, she's eating her cake and her mother is just hung over on the couch behind her. The apartment is an utter mess and she gets it to go. And the mother's like, "Oh hey, can you like do I forget what she asks, but she like asks her a favor as she's going out the door, and the daughter just ignores her. Um,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. So that's pretty rough. But actually, we can talk about it. We'll go and scene by scene right now. But yeah, then we see the boy with boy two, his friend,
Mhm.
the nerd,
Nerd.
the absolute
Here
dweeb,
we go. We do have to go
probably a communist.
backwards. There we go. I got the perfect spot. They're walking to school together, and yeah, he stole his dad's gun to bring it to
Which is, I
school.
didn't even know they were allowed to have guns in China.
Some people can have like registered guns, I think. I don't know the gun laws. He said
He's
it was
probably military. You think you have to be like a member of the CCP to have a gun?
probably.
But
Um,
yeah, you have. So he reveals that he stole his dad gun. His dad gun. Very irresponsible gun owner, by the way.
we also do
Just
hear why he stole it. And I don't
he
know,
steals a lot. This kid.
did you pick up why he stole it? Because it's very important for
Well, because you mean there was like you mean you
a
want a more
certain scene.
specific reason than he wanted protection from the bully?
Oh, well, it was for protection from the bully, and so he could stand up to him. Which, if you remember, another very important scene that this moment is a payoff for.
Yeah, I do. I do.
Yeah, oh, it's like every little detail is like it's really good at setting stuff up and paying them off. It's so good in that regard.
Yeah, but as it turns out, that wasn't what he needed in his life.
No,
Actually, despite not being a main character, he might have one of the most uh, cur- one of the most curvaceous arcs. I
yeah,
don't know if that's how you say it.
he's like he's playing with the gun. Boy one is like, dude, no, like put that away, like stop it. That's stupid. But and yeah, he definitely. There's a lot of good arcs in this movie, even though they're like subtle and very simple. They're like really good. Oh yeah, and then we get the scene of him hiding in the bathroom when his best friend finds him. And then we're back to the boarding of the girl. Okay, and then we're at the. Did the
Yeah,
dog
can I be
come
totally
first?
honest? I think that scene where he's hiding in the bathroom
Yep.
is sort of made me think, like, if it were me, I'd be hanging off the out the window.
That was like a 15 story, 10, 15 stories up. You
Yeah,
wouldn't
I
be
would.
hanging there.
Totally, you would. I was like, I sort of, the way he was hiding sort of made me think it made him look like a coward.
Hmm.
And
Like,
maybe he is. Maybe he is supposed to be like
oh,
like secretly a
absolutely.
coward.
No, because like
He's
his head gesture when it happens, like the best his best friend like looks over at him, and like when he does that's when he turns his head away, like he's unable to make eye contact with his best friend in that scene, and it is a small but really good detail.
yeah, okay. So that is what is supposed to be happening. So good. But
Yeah.
yeah, but for the rest of the movie, I sort of was like, this guy's supposed to be really unable to deal with interpersonal things like this. But it didn't. It seemed like he did just fine the rest of the movie.
Mhm.
So
To be
like
fair though, he was
he,
much more in his comfort zone for the rest of the movie. Although, except for the scene when he's talking to his best friend's mother. Cause that scene again, like he doesn't even know what to say to her. He has nothing.
his best friend's mother.
Yeah, she flies in to see the son, to go to like the funeral or whatever because her son she heard died, and she goes to the place where he jumped, and he meets him out or she meets him out there, and like
Oh,
the only line.
I thought that was her wife.
Oh no. Um,
Okay.
Yeah, no, that scene is specific. She like looks up to like the room where he jumped out, and she was like, "It's so far down." But I do wanna. We can jump onto the bully scene at the school
Yeah.
because
So
there's a lot to talk about here.
so the two young strapping lads are going to confront the bully who claims that boy 2 stole his phone.
Hmm.
Boy 1 brought, what did he bring? Like a pipe?
Yeah, his dad's beat stick that doesn't leave marks.
That's rough.
It's like one of those police batons that they use.
But
Yeah,
it's wrapped in tape,
yeah,
and the tape is supposed to not make it not leave marks.
yeah. It's they're
So,
basically like, we're gonna stand up to him, and boy one decides to stand by boy two.
but the bully is saying that, yeah, you stole my phone, and the boy 2, the nerd, is saying, no, I
Hmm.
didn't.
Yep. And
And boy 1 is just backing his friend here.
yeah, and we know strictly that he's there because they're friends. Because he says at the monkey park scene, when girl one asks him like why he did it, he says doesn't matter, like he's my friend. And so he really did steal the kid's phone, just to put it that way. Because that's talked about. Boy two admits it in a later scene again. I think it was in the mall or something. He admits to stealing the phone, and the kid was like, "Dude, it doesn't matter." But yeah.
Yeah. Although, if
So
I'm gonna be totally honest, I don't know if my best friend was like the aggressor in a situation, I don't know if I'd back him.
no, I definitely wouldn't. I think best friends are not always there to support you, but more to keep you, like a real best friend would keep you in check whenever you fuck up, right? Like kind of hold you accountable. Yeah, they go to class, because it's not the first scene
Like,
that
if you were like, "Hey, I stole this guy's phone. And he's coming to beat me up," I'd be like, "Dude, I'm not gonna help you not get beat up because you stole the guy's phone. Good luck."
yeah, yeah, fuck off. Yeah, they do go to class, and like the kid gets the chair kicked out from under him, and like he becomes a laughing stock for it, or in that scene. Like the broken desk that they have to pay for. And so boy one goes down to the vice dean's office, um, where he's like, I don't even know exactly what it was about. Yeah, he offers to like pay for the desk and chair. The vice dean's like, oh, don't worry about it. He's like, yeah, the school's gonna get ripped down anyway. You're all gonna end up as street vendors anyway. Doesn't matter to me. He's, the vice dean was so shitty. Such a shitty guy. And then shortly after that, girl one then walks into his office, and they spend some time talking. And then yeah, and that leads us to the stairwell. If I can find it. They share a good scene together.
And this shows a dynamic that, first of all, they're totally in a relationship, even though
Mhm.
technically she's like, I'm actually having an affair with the vice dean. Like, this is what a they're in a relationship.
Oh, boy one and the girl.
And the girl, yeah, one of
Uh,
those things where the girl's like, no, we're totally not in a relationship. We just do everything together all the time.
yeah, we do hear, for exact words, we do hear that they're very close friends. And like they get it because he gets asked, it's like, oh, is that your girlfriend in there? And she's like, no, we're just very close friends. But they're basically almost like in a relationship. So there's some scenes that we can definitely like skip over for the fight scene. Like the woman's dog goes missing, the confrontation on the bridge between Thug and the affair, and then we get to the fight scene where the fight breaks out at the stairwell. I would say this is the first scene of. I mentioned on how this film has a dedicated scene for each character and a moment when they take control. They make a choice and they take control. And I think this is probably one of the weaker scenes you can, because it's kind of like a combination between this scene and the monkey park scene. But boy one decides to take control. You know, he's sticking up for his friend and he fights the bully in this scene. And like this is the, yeah, so the confrontation happens. Things eventually get aggressive and the bully gets pushed down the flight of stairs. And yeah,
And he dies from there, or as what we can assume. Maybe it wasn't like fully, but he's sent to the
he,
hospital.
yeah, he's sent to the hospital. Um, it's quite a scene because it's like the bully initiates. He's like, what do you have there in your jacket? And he's like, nothing. I got nothing. And he's like, show me. And it's like, he like rips it out. And he sees that it's like one of the, like a baton wrapped in tape. And he just calls, he's like, you're a fucking coward.
Yeah, basically.
And goes to shove him, but gets shoved back. Um, yeah, not too much happens for a while after this. You get the phone call of Thug One with his parents, who like, hey, your brother's in the hospital. Do you have? And he's like, he hates his brother, so he's like, yeah, no, so what? She's like, he's basically like dead to his family, but they want him to now do this thing for them to take revenge.
So but his father's not a thug, not
No,
technically.
no, no.
I kind of assumed that his father was a bit of a gangster too.
They just I feel like I think that they're like a rich family. Can't say for sure, but I think that that was mentioned at one point. They're kind
It's
of
weird
like
that
more well off.
the son of the rich family is going to like the poor school.
Yeah, that's my question. I
Because
feel like
aren't they all private schools in China and Japan?
I don't know.
Well, actually, maybe not China because it's the CCP. So maybe I'm wrong about that.
They are more well off, and he's kind of just been like, he's a disgrace to the family, basically. But it's like, hey, this thing happened to your brother, who is the golden child for the parents, and they're like, you know, do something about it. Next up would be the dog attack.
And the boy is going there to the hospital to check up on the guy that he killed.
He does that much later. That
Okay.
that that happens much later. Dog attack scene happens.
Yeah, old man walking his dog. His dog gets killed by another dog who happens to belong to the rich family.
He, the stray dog. I think it's a different family. No,
No, no,
not the bully.
it's the same family.
Oh, it is? Okay.
Yeah, you didn't notice that at the
No,
hospital?
no.
The guy that chased down the old man and the boy is the same guy that was at the hospital.
Oh, okay. So yeah, the dog gets attacked. This is like kind of built up really nicely. It's shown in two scenes. We didn't really cover them. But when the girl is leaving her house to go to school, the dog like walks by and starts growling at her, like as she's trying to leave her door. And so she grabs a bat from behind a vase, to fight it off if necessary. And then we see the woman spreading flyers in a much earlier scene when he's sitting in the street with some other older folks.
Yeah, and she's like crazed looking for her dog,
Hmm.
and eventually the old man runs into the dog,
Yeah,
and
and it kills his dog.
his dog gets killed, and his dog was the only thing shielding him from the retirement home.
Not even I wouldn't say shielding him. It was his last possession that he had to lose.
Yeah, but it was helping him stay in denial.
Okay, yeah,
Is
fair.
what I understood is that he's like, well, they can't put me in this retirement home while I have this dog because they're not gonna make me give up the dog.
Yeah,
But yeah, and he loses it that day.
it was that was like a rough scene.
And you know what, the style of this movie really lends itself to the that sort of stuff
Mhm,
because it's a almost the it's a POV, but it's almost like you're showing what a character thinks. It doesn't really matter what they're seeing.
mhm.
So you get to see the old man's reaction to his dog dying. He's in shock a little bit. He's scared,
Yeah,
but
he's like trying to stomp.
they don't have to like do like a film a fake dog attack scene. They can just pan to his face and pan around with a dead dog.
Now they do that with all of the scenes that involve like something kind of gruesome, and I think partly is just to keep it more like a lower rating almost. Any violence is more implied because it's a lot, and for just general like they don't have to use any CGI. They can keep the film cheaper that way too. Because like showing a dog attack scene, to be fair, would be a lot more expensive than just
Yeah,
showing his face of him fighting off air in reality.
yeah, exactly.
Which is like it is like a little bit of a criticism I do have also, especially of like I think the most horrific offense is the first scene where you see the dog when the girl's trying to like leave her room. The dog is like casually walking by he just obviously pasted over growling noises when the dog isn't posturing in any aggressive way, but the camera is almost blocking the dog's head from, or the girl's body is blocking our view from the dog's head. It could have been a little bit more believable, but it is what it is. It's like that's just such a minor thing at the end of the day. Um, yeah, so like the police kind of investigate at the school. Yeah, the girl goes and sees the vice dean. Um, they're like, yeah, we want to keep this between in the school and not get the police involved. But boy one is on the run. He's officially become a fugitive.
Yeah, which I really, and he comes back to his house to get money, and his dad has stolen it from him.
Mhm. He's like, he does confront his dad, and he's like, where's the money at? And he's like, what did you do to it? And he's like, what money are you talking about? And he's like, my money. And he's like, it's not your money. You haven't worked a fucking day in your life. It was like, it was just wish money from grandmother or from your
Yeah, which
granny.
means it's your money,
Yeah.
which is hilarious. Yeah, aka my money.
This is the shot of when he enters his grandmother's apartment. Look, just try to get money from her. And he finds her on her bed. Right after he finds her, though, like, he just goes into her drawer and grabs some money to go. He does eventually head to like a relative's house. I don't know if I'll be able to find it. Oh yeah, here it is. It's literally like the next scene. And he's like, "Hey, grandmother's dead, just so you know." And like, he's like, and the relative is like, "What? Fuck off! Like, you're not going anywhere. Get back here."
Yeah,
But
and
he,
he robs his grandmother after she's dead too.
yeah,
So the kid's also a piece of shit. A lot of these characters are.
yeah, they really are.
But
Which,
he gets out of there. Um, the girl is on a date with a teacher or with a faculty member. So that's happening. When
that
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 gets leaked over
that
a
does
group chat,
happen a bit later. I do want to talk about,
does the monkey scene happen first?
yeah,
Okay.
there's the whole the what I forget what that game is called. Why can't I, with the 8 balls and like, he's got his stick.
Pool,
Yeah, pool.
billiards.
Yeah, he's got his pool stick and billiards, and he like trades it off. That happens, and then he goes to the monkey park, and this is the
Does he
first
really still
real.
have that pool stick, the pool cue on him by the end of the movie?
Oh yeah, he carries it with him the entire time.
I feel
It's
I feel like at one point he loses it, but maybe I'm wrong.
Nope,
Hmm.
I don't think he does. This scene though is pretty. I love this scene. It's so it does. I don't even really entirely know what it does, but it's just a really good character moment between these two characters where we finally get to fully see these two characters interact.
Oh yeah,
Um, yeah, go ahead.
we get there to develop their relationship.
Yeah.
So
Um,
that's
we also see where they are in the film. This kid he's a fugitive on the run, and he's asks her to come with him, and she's like, "Why would I?" Like she's like she laughs when he asks her to come with him.
yeah.
It's and this is the first, I think one of the first scenes where it's like he talks about the elephant. And he's like, I'm gonna go to Mingzuli and see the elephant. So And oh, what is it? This is also a good setup because she's like, um, what is that thing called again?
The
She's like, how are you gonna make money? And I can't even remember what it's called. Um, it's like the little wiffle ball.
bat,
No,
little wiffle ball.
no, no, not the wiffle ball, but the yeah, it's like one of those like little balls, and it's got like the plastic wings almost at the end, and you hit it with a badminton.
The birdie, the shuttlecock.
Yeah, shuttlecock. And he's like, "Oh, I'll perform shuttlecock." And she's like, "How the hell are you gonna make money with shuttlecock?" He's like, "I'm pretty good at it." She's like, "Have you ever won an award with it or anything?" And he's like, "Yeah, I've won a couple things with it." And she's like, "Oh, okay." But it builds up a shuttlecock, and that this kid is apparently pretty good at shuttlecock.
Yeah, which is he though? We never really see it.
Well, we will save that for later. There is a shuttlecock payoff. There's two of them. Yeah. This is it's this is a quite one. This is definitely like one of the longer scenes. I just love it. I love character moments in movies, and I just love just general character development in movies, and being able to see two people just interact. I love it. Um, Move on. Most of that it's like isn't too boring. The thug with his goonies runs into the old man about the pool cue and is like, "Where'd you get that?" Because he sees the name on it. But not too much happens with that. Um, he eventually runs off, and we get the scene between Thug One and Kid One outside of the restaurant when they're outside of the restaurant where the girl and the Vice Dean are having their date.
And they don't know who each other are.
No, yeah, the scene, it's like he's found the guy he's looking for, but he doesn't even know it.
Which is pretty rough.
He's like, "What are you doing watching them?" And he's like, I don't, I don't even know, I don't remember what was said on the note or what happened. Eventually, he like takes a piece of paper and slams it on the window. Um, yeah, it's that's I guess like when the Vice Dean and the girl know that they've been like found out because the group chat also starts blowing up. And then yeah, see they're in the diner together.
Yeah, which don't have an affair with one of your students.
No, especially when they're a minor.
Well, we don't know if she's a minor. She's a high schooler. She could be 18, but
We do know. The mother says that she's 17.
oh, okay. Well then, yeah, don't do that. Double don't do
Um,
that.
yeah, absolutely not. Um, I wish there was like a little bit more to talk about in these middle scenes. Um, we do get the next step in Thug's um character arc of when he's having the meal with the woman that he slept with, and like the kitchen catches on fire.
Right.
Yeah, and he tries to like save. He actually like takes action in the situation and tries. Oh, that is too far. Yeah, basically just tries to help, but he's too late. Um, he doesn't save the cook in time. The
He doesn't save the cook in time.
yeah, so the cook dies.
No, no, the cook doesn't die.
Yeah, it does.
No, just the kitchen catches on fire.
No, like look on the screen or on the stream.
I am on the stream.
Yeah,
Oh wait, whoa. Now I am. Oh wait, he's not dead. Where's the dead guy?
he's in the corner.
That's not the. That guy's not dead. That guy's
Uh,
supposed to be dead.
yeah, he was just on fire. And they're not. He's not doing anything about it anymore.
You die. That guy died from fire really fast.
Yeah,
Some people like their whole body catches on fire and they just like live as like a leather suit for the rest of their life. Hello, Jab.
it's.
Jab's in the chat. I didn't even realize he was here.
I
He
don't
might
think
not be here
it's.
anymore.
It's much more about the message of like he failed than the how long this guy actually survived being on fire.
Well, you're right. Okay, so there is a lot of death in this movie. Death that I didn't even realize.
Yeah,
A lot of people dying in China.
third confirmed kill.
Yeah, well, it is really rough. Like, that's crazy. Well, no, how many confirmed kill? Oh, yeah, confirmed. So just the grandma, the guy off the building, and
Yeah.
now this guy. Plus the dog. We'll make that four. Dogs are people.
Oh yeah. I mean that dog, to be fair, was a key part to um Old
Yeah, but
Man.
it's still a person.
Hmm. Um, that's a yeah, that was a good scene. Then we get the apartment scene between the vice dean and the girl. It cuts back to them and what's been going on between them. Um, this is where we find out about why she was with him. Basically, it has to do with her life at home. And as she puts it, when she's like later also defending her actions from her mother, she's like, "Hey, I never had to clean up. I never had to worry about food when I was with him. He really cares about me," which isn't the case at all.
Yeah, her
But
mother actually really cares about her, as we
yeah,
find out later.
yeah,
But
but
you're right. She has a difficult home, and that's kind of very, she has no father figure. Her mother's messing around.
mhm,
Although her mother's not super poor, right? Her mother is sort of described as having a decent job, I think.
yeah, it's just their dad left her when uh she was little.
That's really that's like yeah, and then you find that out when she's like, you. What did she say? She says,
She says something like about like the dean or something being like the shittiest man ever, and the mother's like, no, he's not the shittiest man. The shittiest man is halfway across the world right now.
right. So and I okay, that scene's in a little bit, but I did really like that scene between when uh when the dean and the dean's wife show up to confront the mother.
Oh yeah, we could maybe skip ahead to that scene. Oh yeah, we get the
Yeah,
mall scene. Up next is actually the mall scene of where boy one messages boy two about like where he's at, and boy two comes like running there, and like they start looking for them, or for boy one, but he eventually corners him in a stairwell, and that's where they have a conversation. Just more character moment.
and boy one gets to confront boy two about
Mhm.
him not actually stealing the phone,
Yeah,
and they sort of have a fight here.
they do. Tension gets. They almost just straight up have another stairwell fight.
Yeah, yeah. Every fight this guy has on a stairwell.
Um, this next scene I actually definitely want to talk about because this is super duper important scene number two. Um, third. This is my third favorite scene in the movie, possibly second. I don't know. It's between this and the bat, but it is when the man goes to the retirement home or the
Check it out.
yeah.
It's a
Um,
very sad retirement home. Some,
and like the
and that's the
camera,
thing.
the
In the
camera.
states here, we sort of think of retirement homes as like kind of drab, dreary places, even though a lot of them are pretty nice.
Yeah. Oh,
Like
the
retire,
conditions here are
retire,
awful.
yeah, retirement homes here will have pools and teenage nurses for the old men to sexually harass, like,
Yeah.
or like all the great things in life that you as an old 90-year-old who needs assistance wants.
Hmm.
But this place is just the saddest thing you've ever seen. This is like the retirement home from Happy Gilmore.
I love how it's shot though. How this scene is shot is fucking incredible. Where it's just a sideways camera and it's just going down the hall with the older man as he's like um just checking through each window in the room. It's like this is it. This is the moment of where he he later like says like I've done nothing with my life to the two younger kids, and he tells them that he hopes that they can do more with theirs. But like this is the moment when he sees what is in store for him, and he's like, "Fuck no!" Like, and this is of when he changes, turns around, and he decides that he is going to go visit the elephant.
And you know
You
what?
know.
It's also kind of sad because he's being thrown in here, not because he's too much for his son to take care of, but
Mhm.
just because it's the cheaper option for his son,
Yeah, it
which I think
is.
is kind of shitty. Like it's not. It's sort of like it looks like an assisted living facility where people in here mostly need like 24-hour nurse assistance,
Mhm.
but he's doing pretty fine. I mean, he's regularly going on long walks around the neighborhood. He's got all his mental faculties. Like he's
Yeah,
doing great.
like he even fought off a dog,
He did well to some degree. He does
and it's
not
like
need he does not need to be.
absolutely not. But yet you compare it to like one of the rooms where there's the guy just walking back and forth in his room and he's knocking on the window. It is this room right here. He's just walking back and forth and you hear this one guy's knocks almost as you're going
Oh,
down the hall the
oh,
entire time.
oh. Whoa! Did our stream just get taken down?
No,
No, you
I
can
don't
still
think.
watch it. It says
I don't,
stream unavailable.
oh crap, were we taking note?
Huh.
Oh yeah. I forgot to pause.
Oh no. Well, all right, whatever.